Boker Tov, good morning. It's wonderful to be here with you together this morning on this lovely Thursday morning. Good to see everyone coming in as it's almost time for us to begin. Please do, as you come in to our chapel this morning, to our virtual chapel, please drop a greeting to one another and to me as we take this time to start the day with strength. Good morning, Anita. Good morning to each of you and all of you as we say to one another, Boker Tov. Welcome to Boker Tov from Temple Sinai. Temple Sinai, Congregation of Toronto's daily opportunity to connect, to reflect, and to remember. I'm Rabbi Michael Dolgan, and it's a pleasure to be here with you this Thursday morning as we have this beautiful opportunity to be together. Good morning, Bonnie, and to, while in our homes, be connected to community and to allow the words of our tradition, both from the prayer book and from the Torah, to give us perspective on ourselves and on our world today. So let's begin with these words of personal prayer that talk about the miracle that is our physical bodies, how sleeping and waking continue to happen each day. Please join me in the Hebrew and the English. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher yatzar et ha'adam bechokma, u'vara'avo nekavim nekavim, chalulim chalulim, galui v'yadua lifnei chisei chvodecha, she'im yipatech echad mehem, o yisatem echad mehem, אי אפשר להתקיים ולעמוד לפניך. ברוך אתה אדוני, רופא כל בשר ומפליא לעשות. Blessed eternal God, creator of the universe, you have fashioned our bodies with wisdom, creating within us a finely balanced network. To stand before you in prayer is itself a fragile miracle. Eternal God, we praise you as the healer of body and spirit. And let's continue with a prayer for that spirit. Just like our breath well, it feels like we draw it in. That's actually physiologically not the case. We open up and create a vacuum, create a space, and the air rushes in. Likewise, if we create a space spiritually within ourselves, the spirit, the soul rushes in and fills us and gives us a chance to feel connected to a larger reality and the larger world. The soul that you have given me, O God, is a pure one. You have created and formed it, breathed it into me, and within me you sustain it. So long as my soul is within me, I will give thanks to you, eternal my God and God of my ancestors, source of all creation, sovereign of all souls. We praise you, eternal God, in whose hand is the power of all life and the spirit of all flesh. And now, Thursday being a day of Torah learning, let us join together la'asok b'divrei Torah, affirming our commitment to and responsibility to engage deeply in learning from our tradition. So much of our life seems to exist just in the present, and yet Torah is an opportunity to anchor ourselves in wisdom from different moments in the generational history of our people. And so when we look at what it is our tradition, our Torah, the wisdom of our people has to offer, it gives us a chance not to push our own decision-making abilities aside, but rather to allow them to be informed in a much broader way, and to reflect different moments and different wisdoms from our tradition. Please join me. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu la'asok b'divrei Torah. וערב נא אדוני אלוהינו את דברי תורתך בפינו ובפי עמך בית ישראל, ונהיה אנחנו וצאצאינו וצאצאי עמך בית ישראל, כולנו יודעי שמך ולומדי תורתך לשמה. ברוך אתה אדוני, המלמד תורה לעמו ישראל. אלו דברים שאין להם שיעור, These are the obligations whose value cannot be measured. They nourish us in this world and help us to create the world to come. Kibud av va'em, to honor fathers and mothers. Ugmilut chasadim, to perform acts of love and kindness. Vashkamat Beit Midrash Shacharit V'Arovit, to attend the house of study morning and evening. V'achnasat Ochim, to welcome the stranger. U'Bikur Cholim, to visit the sick. V'achnasat Kala, to provide for brides and grooms. V'Levayat Hamet, to keep faith with the dead. V'Yun Tfilah, to pray with sincerity. V'Hava'at Shalom Ben Adam L'Chavero, to make peace when there is strife. Talmud Torah keneged kulam, and the study of Torah is equal to them all. Well, please join me in continuing with our Birchot HaShachar, with our morning blessings. These blessings identifying who we are and the way in which we can partner with God in working toward a better world. First, on the second page of these blessings is Matir Asurim, is setting free the captive. Israel has restarted active fighting to try to degrade and bring an end to the control, the influence, and the crimes of criminal terrorist Hamas. And we want to see the hostages released, all of them. And so as we recite these blessings, we do so, the first one in Hebrew, the second one half Hebrew, half English, but joining in both ways in the blessing for freeing of hostages as a reminder that we must look for every way and demand that our leadership, our political leadership, look for every kind of influence to right this wrong and bring them home now. Please join me. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan l'sechvi vina, l'avchin ben yom uben laila. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, you have created me in the divine image. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, she'asani ben chorin. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, you have made me a Jew. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, she'asa li kol tzorki. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, you open the eyes of the blind. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, malbish arumim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, you release those who are held captive. And again in Hebrew, Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, matir asurim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, zokef kefufim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, you maintain the balance of land and sea. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hamechin mitzadei gaver. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, you surround Israel with strength. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, oter Yisrael b'tifara. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, you give strength to the weary. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, avir shena me'enai utnuma me'afapai. I hope God truly gives strength to the weary. I can't imagine the weariness, both of those who are forced continually for way over 500 days to fight an evil terrorist enemy, or those who suffer in their hands. There are no words for this kind of crime against humanity. I remember when I was in Israel for the Second Lebanon War, or during it, obviously, that wasn't the purpose of my presence there. And sitting next to a young soldier on a bus who had just come off of the lines in that war, and seeing on his face and hearing in his words to me and in his experience a kind of exhaustion, a kind of worriness, a kind of weariness that I myself, having of course had normal kinds of tiredness, never even imagined. God send them strength, be with them and be with us as we join in these words that bind us all together, the words of Shema Yisrael. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kavod Malchuto Leolam Va'ed. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודך. והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם, בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך. וכשלתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך. ויאמר אדוני אל משה לאמור, דבר אל בני ישראל ואמרת עליהם, ויעשו להם ציצית על כנפי בגדיהם לדורותם. ונתנו על ציצית הכנף ותיל תכלת, והיה לכם לציצית, וראיתם אותו. וזכרתם את כל מצוות אדוני ועשיתם אותם, ולא תטורו אחרי לבבכם ואחרי עיניכם, אשר אתם זונים אחריהם. למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם. Adonai Elohechem Emet. Well, we join together here on Boker Tov on this Torah day with an opportunity to allow the words of our Torah to continue not just to influence us, but to strengthen us and to remind us in this Torah portion in symbolic ways of the values that are at the heart of our people. This parasha, Vayakel, really, after saying that the people need to gather together, describes Shabbat and then all of the different elements of the tabernacle, of the portable sanctuary in the wilderness as it was created. And none of them really historically are more symbolic than the menorah, translated in English as lampstand, because it is a stand upon which olive oil lamps were burned each and every day. 7 branches in the temple. That's why, of course, that the menorah is 7, and the Chanukiah, the Hanukkah menorah, a different object, has 9. And here we find the basic descriptions, the most important being in verse 18, not just that it was made in 17 of gold and that it was made of hammered work, made by hand. We know from another Torah portion that it was also lit by hand by the high priest. And it says in verse 18, 6 branches issued from its sides, 3 from one side and 3 from the other side. That the menorah was intended to be a sign of balance. And we hear that he, the creator of the actual elements of the tabernacle, B'Tzalel, he made its 7 lamps, its tongs and its fire pans of pure gold. And he made all of its furnishings and talent out of a talent of pure gold. That this symbol says that there has to be a purity of intention, a purity of balance that we cannot achieve every day, but that we seek after. And that most important, as opposed to the Magen David, as opposed to the Star of David or the Shield of David, that while that symbol also has balance, it does not light up the world. It does not take what is in the world and lift it heavenward, bring it higher, make it more sacred, more spiritual, more powerful. And that each day we need to seek to find, as Rabbi Perlson used to teach, within that little flame, that Pintel Yid, that little flame of spiritual and for us Jewish life that allows us to make the world a better place. I think that Rich Orloff in his menorah prayer that he wrote working for Temple with me really describes that in a way that I need to hear today, even though I've heard it relatively recently. Let me share it with you. Menorah prayer. Like a fully lit menorah, you are designed to shine brightly, sharing your glow with the world. A voice you once feared told you a little less brightly today. And slowly over time, you extinguished one candle, then another, till your flame became only a flicker. As your light dimmed, you began to believe that your brightness wasn't enough to light your journey. While you struggled to maintain the light you had, gaining more and more fear that if you dared to burn too brightly, you might use up your light and only darkness would remain. These lies have overshadowed your life. Extinguish them now. The source of light says, I gave you this menorah. I gave you these candles. Find the voice inside that says, blaze on. There are reasons, always, situational reasons, interpersonal reasons, social reasons, why it might be hard to find that flame within. But I hope we can not only do so, I hope we can help and support all who need to do so to find a brightness in themselves and in their lives to do so and to continue in this often challenging and dark world. We do so for those who are forced during these painful times to wear the IDF uniform, to stand on guard for us, to stand for the Jewish community as well as all citizens of Israel against ongoing crimes against humanity each and every day on the part of Hamas and their terrorist allies. Please join me in these words of prayer and hoping for safety and strength for them and for a better day for all. מי שברך אבותינו אברהם יצחק ויעקב ואמותינו שרה רבקה לאה ורחל הוא יברך את חיילי צבא ההגנה לישראל ושאר מגיני עמנו העומדים על משמרתם. ישמרם הקדוש ברוך הוא ויצילם מכל צרה וצוקה ומכל נגע ומחלה וישלח ברכה בכל מעשה ידיהם. ויקוים בהם הכתוב וכיתתו חרבותיהם לעתים וחניתותיהם למזמרות לא יישאו גוי אל גוי חרב ולא ילמדון עוד מלחמה וישבו איש תחת גפנו ותחת תאנתו ואין מחריד ונאמר Amen. May the one who blessed our ancestors bless the soldiers of the IDF and all who defend our people. May the Holy One guard them against all difficulty and distress, injury and illness. May all of their actions bring blessing, fulfilling the prophet's words. Let them beat their swords into plowshares and their spears into pruning hooks. Let nation not lift up sword against nation, and may they learn war no more. May all sit under a vine or fig tree, with none to make them afraid. And let us say together, Amen. Well, we pause now and think of all those in need of strength and healing, all those in our family, in our circle of friends who might be ill or isolated or unwell. For each of them, we offer these words of prayer. Likewise, for all those who are ill, but especially those who have been injured in this war, in so much violence in our world, and those who must find the strength to recover. And of course, those who continue to be injured by the cruelty of terrorism and the taking of hostages and the world's permitting such circumstances to continue. For all in need, for the names that have been given to me and given to Temple, for the names that have been placed in the chat in this and other services, we turn to these words of refuah. מי שברך אבותינו אברהם יצחק ויעקב ואמותינו שרה רבקה לאה ורחל הוא ירפא את כל מכותינו. יהי רצון מלבבך אדוני אלוהינו לחלומם ולרפאותם וישלח לנו מהרה רפואה שלמה ועטרת שלום ונאמר Amen. May the one who blessed our ancestors bless and heal all who suffer. May it be the divine will to provide healing and strength. Reveal to us the holiness of life, the wholeness of shalom, and let us say together, Amen. It's very meaningful to be here with you to connect and to reflect. And we take time now to remember by recalling those who died in recent days and weeks, those who died at this season in years past, and those whom we have taken into our hearts with our own. During the past 30 days, we extend our condolences to the families of Stephen Diamond, Irving Goldberg, Helene Newman, Michael Lander, Joy Lowenstein, Ian Hart, Rose Weinstock, Ari Hockman, Larry Robbins, Len Kahane, Roseanne Ain, Phyllis Schwartz. And remember all victims of war and terror, including terror victims Yali Gol, Tzachi Idan, Shlomo Mansour, Ohad Yahalomi, Oded Lifshitz, Yitzchak Elgarat, Hassan Karim Dahamshe, Kfir Bibas, Ariel Bibas, Shiri Bibas. And on Yahrzeit, on the anniversary of their deaths, on this 20th day of Adar, the 20th of March, 2025, we honor the life and legacy on Yahrzeit of Arthur Arshovsky, Ada Danziger, David Greenberg, Don Jacobs, Lillian Sylvia Cates, Pauline Klein, Peter Lowe, David Merker, Essie Moskoff, Clara Nyman Borchet, Karen Rose, Joseph Rothberg, Vera Singer, Ruth Faye Stanley, Philip Wapna. Zichronam Livracha, may their memories be a blessing to us. Our griefs and our sympathies are mingled as we turn together to words sanctified by memory, words glorified by hope. We join together in reciting Kaddish Yatom. יתגדל ויתקדש שמה רבה, בעלמא דברך חירותה וימליך מלכותה, בחייכון וביומכון, ובחיי דכל בית ישראל, בעגלה ובזמן קריב עמו, אמן. יהא שמה רבה מברך לעולם ולעלמיה. יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא. ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי דקודשה בריחו. לעילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה, תשבחתה ונחמתה, דמירן בעלמה ועמו, אמן. יהא שלמה רבה מן שמיה וחיים, עלינו ועל כל ישראל ועמו, אמן. עושה שלום במומיו, הוא יעשה שלום, עלינו ועל כל ישראל ועמו, amen. May the source of peace send peace to all who mourn and bring comfort and strength to all who remember. And together we say, Amen. Well, it's very meaningful to be here with you together this morning. And Temple is grateful. I hope we all start the day with gratitude. Temple is grateful that a contribution has been made to the Rabbi's Discretionary Fund and the Minyan Fund by Brent Rose, observing Yahrzeit for Karen Rose. I hope that today can be a meaningful and significant day for each of us, and that today, to all of us and to those who need it most, brings good news.